Okay, I have no idea how good audio is going to be since I've done some modifications to fix the random cutouts and that. But with that said, let's talk about the Undisputed Beta. Just to alert you beforehand, while there have been positives said, I'm more doing a critique here, so these are going to be the negatives I'm talking about. And these are going to be like either Wi-Fi or gameplay exclusive. I'm not going to be talking about graphics. I'm not going to be talking about the animations unless like it's something really noticeable, like really bad. And when I say animations, I mean does the jab look kind of wonky? Does like if you go throw a jab, does your arm look like a bit of jelly? I'm not going to be making comments on that. This is purely just meant to be a critique of the things that I think need to be improved. Because I don't mind a slightly sloppy looking jab as long as the gameplay's smooth, you know? And I am a little bit ill, just to alert you, so my nose is gonna be funny and all that throughout this. I'll try and keep that to a minimum. But no, let's get right into this. So first of all, um, most important thing, the Wi-Fi was atrocious. Like, I think there was only really one good day of Wi-Fi, and then that went really bad at the end. And there was a lot of like desync going on, where like there was, I could find the clip, but I'm a little lazy and can't be bothered. But there was a case where like I threw two right hooks, and on their screen, the two missing right hooks connected as a right and a left, and the left knocked him down. But on my end, like my fist literally ghost punched him because my fist missed by like an inch, and they just randomly flopped to the floor like a few seconds later, and it's really confusing. But yeah, apparently that's some desync right there. So that's going to be needed to look into immediately because there's some desync. In all honesty, I would say if there's going to be Wi-Fi issues, maybe set it so someone can like I don't know lower the intensity so it doesn't drain as much on the Wi-Fi or something. Like there's an option saying um low Wi-Fi. Like I'm not sure if that's even possible, but maybe look into finding a way to make the Wi-Fi a little less strenuous, even if that means like graphics are automatically lowered online or something, unless you personally go to set to say, yes, I want full graphics online. Like maybe something like that could fix the problem. Yeah. Sorry, my throat's going weird. Sorry, I had to pause there to clear out my throat because it was going really weird. Sorry if you heard the sound of it starting up. As I said, I'm not feeling my best. But no, the point I'm making is maybe I don't know, set to find the like closest Wi-Fi. So at first it's like looking for people with really good Wi-Fi with you, and then it starts expanding out to maybe find further away Wi-Fi's or something. Because I forget which game it is, but I believe there's a game that does that. I forget the name of it, and that's a really like proper system. Like so, if even if like you haven't got the best Wi-Fi, you got someone who at least has a really good connection to you, so you're not going to notice as many issues, which would definitely get around a lot of the Wi-Fi issues. I feel, and then maybe you could have a manual setting where you like disable that and you just look for whoever, but automatically it looks for people closer by, so you have better connection. Like I think that's a good idea to prevent that because I'm going to be a bit constructive here. But really, that's all I've got covered on the Wi-Fi. Like the desync was a problem, and I think that's actually what was causing a few of the ghost knockdowns a lot of people were suffering, where they'll just randomly flop to the floor, they'll randomly get rocked or something. I think that was desync, and that was happening on the second day and late third day. Like when they added the extra 2 hours, like those were the times when the desync was most prominent. Not sure why, but that's just how it was. Then let's actually talk about gameplay. I feel like disabling flash knockouts was a very bad idea. But even without flash knockout, it's actually allowed us to see how bad body shots were designed. Because I'm not joking, you could literally just eat away at someone's body. And it's like, I feel like you shouldn't be babying people by giving them titanium bodies and making punches to the body do nothing. Like, it should be, okay, if you're not defending your body, then you get punished. Like, you should be forced to lower your guard, like, and risk your face getting hit, you know? Like, I do think that's a thing that should happen. But the game literally gave no risk to body. Like, the only risk to body shots was if someone caught you with a good power shot to the body and then followed it up with the face when you're, like, enter that slightly hunched stun animation that happens at times, which is a thing that, if done well, is really effective. Like, you get someone right against the corner and start doing that to them, like, it is very effective. I believe, like, one or two people did rage quit when they got caught by that, and I'm not just on about in my games. I believe I saw in another game where someone quit out. And when I say quit out, I don't mean surrender. Like, I actually had a game so bad with Wi-Fi, I had to literally surrender because I'm not just going to quit out like a lot of people do. Because a lot of people have this weird mentality where it doesn't count as a loss if you, like, quit out, which is completely irrelevant to the point of what I'm saying. I'm just making that point. But yeah, like, the body shot's way too weak. That needs a bit of a buff. Like, not too much, just a little bit of a buff, you know? Like, to regular shots, and then a bit more of a heavy buff to power shots, maybe increase stamina cost from body power shots to even it out. So make the body shots with power cost more, but make the damage go up would probably be a good idea. The same with all power shots, because they were horrendously bad. Like, I feel like a power shot should be a power shot. Following that up, as we're talking about punches, there was of course the um I believe study referred to this as babying of strikes, or babying of the hooks or jabs. I forget exactly what they called it, but it was babying in some form, where it was like you go for a jab and the game changes it to a hook, or you go for a straight and the game changes it for a hook, which a lot of times actually messed me up because it was for some reason doing within medium range, where it's like I'm not even in range to hook unless I'm like doing a long range lead hook after a jab. I am in no way able to hook this person. Why are you making me do hooks? And it was less common if you used the stick, but it still happened, and it was very annoying and irritating because it was like, nah, I want to jab this person at medium range because I want to get a power jab off to sort of slow their hyper aggression down because that's really effective. Though, speaking of power jabs, they also need a buff in damage because it's like people just walking into them like and eating them. They're not dodging them. They're not trying to like get their own jab off. They're not trying to like stay just out of range and then slipping after the animation's finished. Not any of that. They're just eat, eat, eat. And it's like a lot of people were just eating strikes. And while yes, I did get a few rocks and knockdowns, it felt way, way too hard. Like with a person who just wasn't guarding. And there was a lot of times where I should have been knocked down and I wasn't guarding properly and I just ate it. And I was like, yeah, this is ridiculous. Even if you've got a steel jaw, the amount of shots you're taking between your eyes should knock you down at this point. But it just didn't happen. There's also the range of the straight punch. I feel like that's kind of weirdly short. I feel like they need to make the arm extend a slight bit because it feels a slightly bit off in range, where it feels like the range is just a tinsy bit too short. And then there's also the occasions where like you're clearly seeing your strikes hit, but the game doesn't detect as a hit. And those two things combined can be very, very annoying, where you're not sure if it's like the weird short arm reach happening at random, or if it's a hit, but the game just decides, nah. And a part of that can be attributed to lag, but there was also points where there was like minimal to no lag, and it was still happening. And so that is an issue. And I feel like that needs to sort of be worked on a bit. As for the judging, and I think this is one of the final things I'll talk about. There might be one more thing after if I remember it. Judging is horrendous. Completely overhaul how that works. Because currently all they care about is how many strikes and counters you get off. Not where you do them, not how you do them. It's literally just how much can you spam. Can you just put someone in the corner and just start jab spamming their body or something? That's what the game rewards, and it's completely ridiculous. Like, it doesn't reward you getting those finely crafted sharp jabs off. It doesn't reward you for getting an uppercut. Like, uppercuts do no damage, by the way. That was dumb. Like, I was having people lean into the uppercut and it was doing nothing. Completely ridiculous. Like, and this was like full duck down. So this wasn't just hold button duck down. Like, this was lunge in, lean down, duck down, and I was smacked with an uppercut. Took like 0 damage. I don't believe I still have the footage of that fight, unfortunately. I am probably just going to be having one fight in the background for the ease of like editing, because my editor's been a bit funny. But no, it was frustrating, you know? It was frustrating where I'm like, okay, I clearly am hitting this person and it's doing nothing. Okay, this person's just really exploiting the poor judging to get easy wins, and it was like it very much encouraged a cheesy, noobish behavior of unrealistic. And in the end, I didn't bother playing realistic, and I just started spamming hooks because it was just more effective. Like the game punished you when you were trying to just jab someone out. And yeah, I got like one win with like jabbing someone to death in like the final 2 rounds, and then got a knockout. I believe it was like the final 2 or 3 rounds. And it's like, yeah, that's a thing that happens, but it's also like, it's not as rewarding. It's just not. You don't feel the power. You don't feel the stopping. Like if someone's just walking into my jab and then does eating it, it's like I feel like they should drop eventually after like 4 rounds of just eating that jab. If they're not guarding their face, like they're not dodging, they're not spacing, and they're just eating every single jab. It's like that is kind of dumb. And I know I keep going back to these damage things, but that is the biggest issue of the beta outside of lag. It was like you could talk about the hitboxes, you could talk about like oh yeah, I remember this. There was like this weird invisible wall at times, and I'm not on about lag wall. Like this was in smooth Wi-Fi, and I was walking at someone. I tried to hit them, but then my character would just freeze in place and like not be able to move forward, and I just had to keep walking, and then eventually I could walk on. I'm not sure what caused that. It might have been desynced as well. I'm not sure. But it was like just weird why I couldn't walk I could walk backwards, I just couldn't get close enough to hook them for some reason, which it's annoying when the game forces you to hook instead of jab. So it's like, make up your mind game. But yeah, there was that, and really, I think those were the biggest problems. Like, as you can tell, like, damage and desync and the lag were my biggest issues, and the judge scoring, I would say, was a very big issue. But really, what else can you say outside of judge scoring other than start adding more variables to judge scoring, make it less about just point scoring? Because, well, yes, some judges do hold that favorably. It seems like 2 of those judges, no matter what, will always hold point scoring more valuable. So it's only if it's a close fight that the 3rd judge might come in effect. And it feels very arcadey, gamey, with how current scoring works. As for the mini game, I just want to make this side note. Like, I know this was meant to be talking about like the things that could be improved, but the mini game was fine. Bless me. But yeah, the mini game was fine. Could use a bit of like sensitivity work where like it feels like the sensitivity's a bit too high or a bit too low at times. But outside of that, yeah, the game, it maybe moved the bars a bit closer, like for like people who maybe have a bit more of narrow vision, or maybe give an option to like move the positions on the bar. And then the final thing I really want to comment on is the controls. I feel like the controls need like a massive overhaul, because I dislike that it's like it's buttons and sticks at the same time. I would rather if I could just set one on the other and then have like the stick or buttons do a different action, so it's just easier to get off more complicated actions that the game really requires you to like hit 5 4 inputs for, rather than like doing like just one click of a button and it, like, I don't know, has you do that action, or maybe 2 buttons and it has you do that action instead of like having to click 4, because that's really awkward. But outside of that, that's really what I got to say. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, this was just a rambling video. Went on longer than I thought. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, share all that. You know how it works. Please do give me your own comments about the game. And also, please make sure your criticism is constructive. If you're just saying it sucks, you're not helping in any way. Like, please give constructive criticism. If you're going to give criticism, talk about what you like. Talk about what you dislike. But try and be constructive in how you do it, because this was a beta. Meaning that people want to like have the constructive criticism, they want to have the like sort of understanding of how to improve, and it really helps out the devs. What you think of the devs or whatever. Like, this game does look like it's shaping up to be something good, and I would hate like people just allow blind like behaviors to ruin a possible good game. Like, it's been forever since people have had a good boxing game. Like, this is the first boxing game truly I've ever got to play, so I actually quite enjoyed it. And yeah, that's all I've really got to say. Take care. Peace.